Howdy folks, it's RJ Helms here, back with Cities in Motion 2. In the last episode, we were mostly just working on our coverage down in this part of the city, in what I believe we made the blue zone, which we're calling Zone 1. If we look at our data views and go to the coverage map, you can see our goal is, of course, 15% coverage of the whole city. And kind of the best way to approach that is just to start tackling systematic coverage. So we've got a couple bus lines and a trolley line, and also these tram lines, just giving us a bit of coverage in this green zone. So in the absence of any more particular goals to expand coverage, let's just keep up with this pattern of building the lines out systematically. So what I'm going to do is have one more bus route just to fill in this little area down here, and then maybe some tram lines running along these major streets. Actually, I think I'll do the tram lines first. They might be a bit more rewarding and probably give us a better coverage score. I'll just lay down some tram track. Down this main street. And not quite all the way to the end, because we're going to need to put in a loop for it. Is this a two-way road? No, it's not, but that's fine. I'm actually going to extend this out. With a bus lane, that shouldn't cause too much trouble. And build my turning line that way, so you'll go out here into the one-way road. Then up this side of the street. And loop around like that. Down at this end, we need to also build in our turning system. I'm not sure what the best way to achieve this would be. Yeah, let's do it like that. And the last thing to think about is where we want to put our depot. And I feel like down here somewhere is probably our best bet. Yeah, let's put it there. Okay, so it's insisting that my tram stops be on the right side of the road. I'd forgotten about that. Which isn't a problem. We just need to clear off that tram track and build it on the other side of the road. It won't cause any trouble. So to start with our two stops just opposite the depot on either side. Just continue along with slight overlap the way we've been doing it all along. Okay, and then one last stop on this main line. I guess slap this guy right up here opposite the subway station exit. That should do just fine. So now we can crit our line. Make sure we're in add stop mode with the game pause, because that's kind of the best way to do it. Oh, I forgot to put in one of the most important things, which is the way into and out of the depot. There we go. The positioning of some of those stops is a little awkward, so I might reconsider this later if it becomes a problem. But for now we can just get that guy running. Give it its name, which I think per our naming system is going to be Tram Line 11 Blue West 1. That's done quite alright for expanding our coverage. Okay, so let's just take a look at our stops. If there's anything unhappy at this hour that's worth taking a look at, and right away there is. So this is on line 11. I don't know why there's so many people here complaining about the, like, what's around here? It's gonna have traffic at 4 in the morning. Oh, well. I don't know, but it's not really my place to worry about it. Stop 15 is 2 hours in, so I think this might be the same thing. Or I just need to add that extra hour service in the night on that route. The tram stop is mad, but it's only got 2 people waiting, so I'm not gonna stress about it. Okay, let's get this going at full speed. That water's really funny. The way it animates when you're zoomed way out. It's almost like the depths of the waves in screen pixels is constant, so the farther you zoom, the more it changes on the terrain. Yeah, looks like that's exactly it. Oh well. Let's check again at 8 in the morning what our satisfaction of our routes is. And then we'll consider again some more expansion. Stop 37 is angry but only has 2 passengers. Oh, my tram lines seem quite satisfied. And my subway lines are quite satisfied, so this is actually going really, really well. Well, that boosted our goal up quite a bit, so that's excellent. It also depends on the time of day. If you go to the charts view, and which one of these is coverage? This one. Oh, this new goal, cool. You can see at different times of day, different types of people will increase the coverage. So my average right now is hanging out, I guess that's around 6.5%, but up to 10% for business people. Whereas, you know, in the middle of the night, it was as low as just above 2% for white collar passengers. So I want to have a line to the commercial building. I'm going to accept that goal, but it's not going to be nearly a priority for me. It's a good thing to keep in mind when I do come to have service out here, but I don't know how exactly I'm going to want to accomplish that yet. So I will save that. Just keep it up my sleeve for some time later. I think a good next thing to do is going to be another tram line pretty much parallel with this one, just running down this next main street. Looks like that can go pretty well along the exact same principles. So let's make that happen. I'll actually run this one all the way up to here. Like so, for my loop at that end. Oh, screwed that up. Keep this just rolling all the way down to this far end. What I'm actually going to do for this one I'll just build that line there and have this loop around over here. Feels like that might be the least destructive way to do this. Just like that. I'm sure I can sneak a depot in here somewhere, somehow. Yes, but I'll need a bit more money. Let's just run this. Yeah, right there, sure. Okay, so I am going to need another little small loan. And with the money that that backbone subway line is making, I am not concerned in the least about revenues at this point in time. Okay, so for stops in my turning loop, I think actually that one will be adequate. It covers the subway station. Can always add another one later if I decide I want to. Why did that not go? Okay, cool. So it's the same old drill. Keeping this rolling down. These last two stops I think can just be right here on the other side of the depot. Actually, I'm going to put them there and there. This can be covered more later by other routes, but making sure my coverage expands down to this corner and this main road here seems to be the most important thing in my mind. So, we know what we're doing here. New line. Starting at the depot. Oh, don't want to click on the street. Okay, I've got out of ad mode there. And making its way up the street. Past the subway station. And back down around. As before, 4 routes, or 4 trams for the route. Get this started. And this is going to be line 14. No, 13. Because it is Blue West 2. I was looking for the data view here. Now our coverage is up at 53% of our goal. So let's give our fare prices a tweak. I find just keeping them in the green range is the policy that you really, or sorry, in the white range is the policy you really want to go with. So that should work just fine. Our reputation is slowly rising. We're up at 52%, starting at 50. So let's see where I want to go next. I'm not really interested in this mission, like I said, just right away. When the time comes that we cover this area, that'll be a good thing to do. But these 2 main islands, I think, are my first priority. Unless I'm kind of specifically directed by a campaign mission to do otherwise. So one way I could get good coverage here, another good boost to coverage, is actually by doing another line running parallel to the subway. Kind of join up these 3 existing routes. With another north-south line. As it were. I feel like right here, there's leisure buildings, there's a lot of workplaces, apartments at both ends. Yeah, this road here. Looking at traffic density to see if any of our buses are causing a problem. There's a lot of traffic here, but I don't think the number of buses is the issue. That can become a huge headache in this game later. Yeah, I think right along here. probably the way to go for next route. First, let's check up on our stops, see how we're doing for satisfaction. All our bus stops are looking good. One of those tram stops is actually worth paying attention to. Tram line 21, stop 16, so let's just see what you're about. Yeah, got some people complaining about waiting too long. Stop 16 is right at the end of this route. 3 hours and 35 minutes into it. So that's not too surprising. The rush hour bus hasn't got up there yet, so I'm just going to stick another rush hour bus on. Yeah, just like that. This bus leaves at 1500. Yeah, it would have come by about half an hour ago, I think. Oh, it would have come at 1830, but it should at least make the improvement. Yeah, because those guys just got picked up. Some of them, at least. We've got some metro stops that we need to improve as well. Stop 3 is right at the beginning. Stop 20 and 21 are 4 hours into it. So maybe the best solution is actually just to improve the frequency of our main line, the Monday to Friday. Just want to make sure none of them overlap with the express routes that run, but they don't. And let's tick this 30 minutes ahead. So it's going to need 6 vehicles now. I have 5 in the depot, so we will add a 6th. Okay, now we can get to work on building that new tram line. I'm going to make this a big depot, actually, because it might end up serving more than one route in the fullness of time. That makes the question of where the loop around on this end is going to be quite a bit simpler. So pull this down, just crossing over both of these existing lines. Make it down to this neighborhood where the question of how it's going to loop around becomes a bit more significant. I think the answer is it's going to have to come up this road, go down here, come back around here. I mean, that's a bit of a red flag here, the fact that the turning traffic is going to cross the other tram line. I'd be much happier if it went the other way. And it could come up here instead. That's going to be crossing this traffic, which it still kind of is, but okay, we'll leave it like this for now. Once again, you can always optimize later. And the big thing for me here That's perfect. Is making sure that these stops are placed in such a way that they overlap with stops on both of these other lines. And sometimes that might involve doing some things you wouldn't otherwise do. Put stops closer together or something. Okay, now we're down into this loop, so let's think about this a bit differently. Looks pretty adequate. Now I can create a new line. I don't need the line UI up while I do that. Yeah, some of these feel like they're too close together. But that can get tweaked later. So that's a nice long line. It wants 6 vehicles, even at this simple service interval. So 6 medium-sized trams it is. What was the cost on that? Yep, I'll take another $10,000 loan. I need a name for this. So I'm kind of thinking if I've got 10, 20, the other zones will be 30 and 40 for the east-west lines. I can just say 30 and 40 and go for another system for these extra ones. Let's see that, yeah. So tram line 1 is actually going to be tram line 31. And it'll be Blue Cross 1. I'm just going to run to maybe 11 o'clock, check up on satisfaction, and then probably end this episode there. Okay. Stop 1, 26 people. Where are you, stop 1? Yep, you're right there. Oh, I wanted to go here, sorry. Right at the start of the timetable, like I thought. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick this down to the half-hour frequency. So it'll give me a bus at 22:30, which should resolve some of that stuff. If people are waiting and they're ready for too long, probably could have dealt with them being picked up a little bit earlier. Holy. Stop 24, where's that? It's got a whole big crowd waiting for it. Yeah. It's also the very beginning route. Yeah, I'll do the same thing. Get a 10:30 bus on there and increase frequency the rest of the day. One thing I didn't think of was that now this needs 8 vehicles. Or now this needs 11 vehicles and it only has 8. So like 3 big ones to round that out. And stop 35. Yeah, I'm not worried about you. But tram stop 1 looks like it needs a lot of service. Where are you? Oh, you're that crossover, so I'm not surprised you need a lot of service. We got 108 people waiting. That is crazy business. So on line 22, you're the first stop, and on line 21, you should also be the first stop. Yes. So I'll do that same thing on both of these routes. I have to go back to my depot and evaluate. So you need 12 vehicles now. You only have 10, so now you have 12. Perfect. So stop 12. I'm not worried about stop 20. I'll improve the frequency so that'll get resolved. I'm just going to do the same thing on this one. And on this one, just copy and paste those orders. Yep, you still only need 4 vehicles. You still only need 4 vehicles, so that's perfect. Metro station with 12 people waiting isn't a problem, but one with 134 certainly is. And where are you? Oh, you're the metro station there, so I'm having a hard time clearing out traffic on this side of the map. So stop 19 is 4 hours and 20 minutes, so to get out of there you would have had to have left at around 1900 hours. Yeah, let's add another one at 1900 hours then. I can make that happen. And I'm going to improve my evening frequency, or my weekday frequency, down another 15 minutes. Just because the more vehicles I get, the more of these I'm going to want. The more lines I get, the more I'm going to need things like this. So, borrow another 10,000 bucks. Oh, there's even one more, right? Yeah, there we go. I want 8. Okay, and that should clear out. So I think this is a good place to end this episode. The next episode is going to be, since this is Friday, we've got our first full business week up. But in the next episode, in literally 1 minute of in-game time, it's going to kick over to be the weekend, and thus the weekend schedules, and those can take a little while to dial in. The whole business of where people want to go is different, and I think out of the box, your routes all only travel every 3 hours. Yep, that's right, every 3 hours during the day on the weekends, and that is going to certainly not be enough. So it'll be fun, do a lot more schedule tweaking. And see how our cash flow affects us. It is still looking absolutely amazing, but our income is going to drop a bit most likely in the weekend, but we'll see. So we'll deal with that in the next episode. So until then, thanks so much for watching. I've been RJ Helms, and this has been Cities in Motion 2, Episode 3. As always, leave a comment below if you have any thoughts or feedback. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks so much.